Hi, John. You're on the air.
Hey, thanks, Omar. Maybe that's a little bit early. I'm not sure whether I should do some pre-game.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to, if you want to say anything about the players beforehand, how the tournament's been going, or who you think is favored to win, or stuff like that.
Okay, just give me 30 seconds to get ready.
Okay, I'm getting the game set up here.
Okay, I don't see the game open yet.
Yeah, I seen Fritzlein just joined. We're still waiting for 99 of 9 to come in. Wow, I don't see him in the game room yet. 99 of 9 isn't here. I also don't see him in the chat room either, so maybe he's going to be running a little bit late. Okay, he just came in right now to the game room, so I think he should be joining the game pretty soon here. Yeah, there he is. So probably the players are chatting with each other right now. And once 99 of 9 clicks on the start button, we should see the clocks ticking.
Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to this game between 99 of 9 and Fritzlein. So this will be a game from round 9 of the Arimaa World Championship, and that's going to be an exciting game, I think. So yeah, you're right, Omar. I think it's going to start any second now. And
yeah, I was going to say I just seen the clocks get started right now.
Yep, indeed. So they're off. And yeah, from this game will depend the course of action in the World Championships. If 99 of 9 wins, then we will have 3 players left in the tournament. So 99 of 9, Fritzlein, and the winner of tomorrow's game between Adanak and myself. And that would be an interesting scenario. The other case is if Fritzlein wins this game, then he will advance to the final game with 2 lives, and he will play either myself or Adanak, depending on who wins. And he would be very, very tough to beat with 2 lives left. And so 99 of 9 just set up, and he's going to play an EHH setup with the elephant and 2 horses on the same wing. I must say it's a little bit unusual. So there is a rabbit on H2. I think the current, the EHH setup as is usually played now, say in these last few months, you usually put a horse on H2. I must say I don't like this setup by Gold. Okay, and now Fritzlein setup, and he does not have a horse ready to fight on the eastern side. I was going to say that fighting with a horse around h3 would be very pleasant for silver, since gold could not deal with this horse, and the horse could just pull rabbits or do anything else. But Fritzlein didn't set up any horse ready to move along the h file. That's kind of a surprise. So I'm not sure how Fritzlein will play against his EH8 setup. I know that now as silver I'm probably going to try to attack on the camel wing with the elephant and other pieces, which would be kind of strange. I mean, 1 or 2 years ago I would not have imagined doing that, but that's the only thing I can imagine doing right now. But I don't think that Karl is going to do that, or at least it doesn't seem like that. So I'm not sure what gold is going to do now. Probably leave his elephant near silver's camel and advance his horses on the east.
So in this situation, you think gold should try to maybe go after silver's camel and try to get the fight going more on the east wing, to try to maybe tie up the elephant on the east, that way I think gold might have the camel to work with on the west.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea. So indeed, gold's elephant is going to stay on the east anyway, and try to tie up silver's elephant to the east and attack with the camel on the west as soon as silver's elephant does not have too much freedom. 99 of 9 set up a dog on a2. I must say that usually you set up a rabbit on a2 to support a camel advance. So here I guess gold will not support a camel advance with a rabbit, but rather go for a camel plus dog attack around b6, very likely. And gold probably doesn't fear getting his horse hostage around h6 or something. I guess gold will just advance horses and just don't mind even being hostage, because silver does not have any piece on the east. So even if we end up with gold's horse on h6 and silver's camel on g6, then it will not be a good hostage, since there will be no piece on h5 or h4 to protect silver's camel from being pulled to g5. So I think gold should not retreat his horse right now. He could just let his horse be pushed toward g6 or h6. That would be no problem, probably. So I guess gold could just advance pieces on the east right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked a little bit unusual to try to advance a horse right into where the camel is, but now that you explained it, I think that makes a lot of sense. If gold horse is taken hostage by the silver camel, with the camel being on g6, it wouldn't be a good hostage, and so the silver elephant would have to stick around to the east side, just in case gold might pop that camel out. So yeah, I think that's a good plan, except he retreats the horse now.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. I'm very surprised by Fritzlein setting up his horses in the middle. I would have set up a horse on h7 actually, and I think that would have helped in case you get a hostage. Trying to use a horse on h5, for instance, and actually the horse would be kind of fine. But yeah, that's a very strange idea to attack in front of the enemy camel. Say a year ago or a couple of years ago, I would not have believed such could work, but Fritzlein does make it work very, very well, and others players as well, and so it's actually quite effective. So I guess the reason that why Fritzlein did not set up a horse on h7 is that he does not want Gold to drag a horse and try to blockade it with two horses and an elephant to tie his elephant down to the east. But still, I'm not sure what he's going to do. I guess he might decide to attack around b3, attack Gold's camel. So we would have two players attacking on diagonally opposite traps, Gold attacking around f6 and Silver attacking around c3, and that would be some kind of race, and that would be very, very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Would remind me of the game you had with Daligault, where you had a frame on the one wing, and he was fighting your elephant with a lot of his smaller piece on another diagonally opposite trap. Well, looks like Gold is trying to pull out the camel.
Yeah, that even reminds me of my game with Fritzlein, where we were attacking with the elephant in front of the enemy camel, and it didn't go well for me. But I think, and I think both positions are quite similar. Gold will be attacking with an elephant and two horses against Silver camel and horse, and Silver would be attacking with elephant, horse and dog against Gold's camel and two dogs, and that would be very, very similar. I must say I would rather have Silver probably, because you get dogs fighting against camel, not horses fighting against the enemy camel, and that's more pleasant, but otherwise it's very, very symmetric. And Fritzlein blockades the f6 trap, so he gets ready for Gold to attack there. He is defending very, very strongly his trap, and it's not going to be easy for Gold to attack around the f6 trap now. So I guess Gold might be switching to a rabbit fooling game, trying to flip this f6 rabbit towards f3. That would not be the perfect side to frame a rabbit. As Gold, you would rather frame a rabbit on c3 rather than on f3, because that c3 is Gold's strong side with his camel, and f3 is Silver's strong side where Silver's camel lies. But still, I guess that Gold would be reasonably happy to frame a rabbit on f3.
So on this move, you think Silver should flip this cat?
Yeah, so if Silver flips the cat, I think Gold has to move the cat to c4 with his elephants to d4, and that would divert Gold's elephant away from f6 and away from the f6 rabbit. So I think that would be give some extra time to Silver, because Gold would lose some lot of time with his elephant, needing to defend on the west. I don't see any other move for Gold than move the cat to c4 with the elephant to d4 right now. I guess that next Silver would advance piece on the east, which is on the west. Which is very unnatural, advancing pieces in front of the enemy camel. But I think that what he might be doing anyway. Okay, so I don't think there was any choice for Gold now. Maybe now Silver can say advance a horse to c5, or maybe even to c4, or a dog to c4, or just advance just one square at a time with several pieces. So I think that now Gold cannot go back towards f6 and try to attack with elephant and horses around f6, because silver would be quicker to attack around c3 now that both elephants are around c3. So probably silver will get what he wanted to. He will get some kind of attack or deadlock around the west. I said east rather than west. So I guess both elephants will more or less get deadlocked around the west, and silver will then attack around the east with his camel.
Now, what about the possibility of, say, maybe that dog, coming up and pushing the cat back to f5, and then you let the dog get framed, but you get a cat, perhaps.
Yeah, to e5 you mean, I guess, and that would be interesting. I think Gold could just frame the dog with 3 steps and move his cat to b5 with the 4th step, and probably he would be able to to replace his elephant on c4 with the a3 dog in time to protect his cat, because he would need just 4 steps, moving the elephant to c5 and the a3 dog to c4 on next move, so he would be able to hold the frame without losing his cat. So I think this would not work, but that's the kind of thing that I would be looking at as silver. And Fritzlein is set to advance on the east rather than attacking on the west. Well, I mean both. I think he will try to do both things, but he decides to start with the east. I would have done it the other way around, probably. Wow, interesting. So on this 8G move, Gold charges in with the camel. Do you think that's a safe move? Yeah, every time that you the enemy elephant d3 with your own elephant on d4, like Gold does here, the camel is quite free to do things on the wing, on the western wing, since Silver's elephant is very, very far away from b5 now. But still, I don't like this move because I think Silver wants to advance pieces, even though they might be hostage by the enemy camel. So here Gold is trying to pull a dog probably to b4 and try to hostage it, but I'm not sure that it would be a good plan. I think that Silver would not mind it too much because, say, a hostage would probably not hold without Gold's elephant anyway, so Silver could proceed with his eastern attack. Yeah, it looked like he just ignored that Gold camel, and Silver just looks like getting ready to attack around f3 now. Yeah, I'm not sure what this... so he played 1 step with his elephant, and I'm not sure what it does mean. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think the elephant will be needed around c3, so I don't know why he moves his elephant away. But anyway, he's attacking on the east. And so Gold's elephant could try to go after Silver's camel, and Silver would attack with his elephant on the west, and I think that Silver's attack on the west would be more forceful probably than Gold's attack on the east. Oh, that was an interesting move of advancing that rabbit one step to freeze that camel, so that it's not as easily, can't retreat as easily. But perhaps Silver doesn't want to retreat here, huh? What do you think, Gene? Well, I don't know. If Silver's elephant is tied to e3, then indeed Gold's attack with Gold's camel attack on the west is interesting. So I was rather expecting Silver to keep his elephant on the west and not dive to g4 right now with his camel, but rather try to advance pieces on the west to tie Gold's elephant first down to c3 defense, or to western side defense more generally. I see in the chat room Hippo is saying that I'm confusing east and west quite often. I'm sorry about that. So I don't know here. Probably moving the camel to h4 is a good idea now. I don't think Silver wants his elephant to be tied down to f3.
So it probably wouldn't be a good idea for Silver to continue advancing, you think? Like, say, to g3, you think the gold elephant might just want to take it hostage then?
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I'm not sure about that. It looks dangerous because indeed Gold's elephant would take it hostage, and then Gold's camel is ready to attack on the west. But that would be very complicated. Silver would be trying to rotate his elephant out of f3 defense very quickly, probably with horses or with small pieces. But I think I would have played a move similar to 9s, moving the camel to h4. I don't think Silver needs to rush with his camel right now. He can wait a little bit and advance some more pieces first and then rush with the camel forward, but say a few moves later probably.
So on this move, Gold has to be careful about that cat, which is sitting on the c3 trap, because if Gold doesn't do something about it, Silver can pull it off.
Yeah, he had to be careful about the c3 cat, but also about the b5 camel, because now Silver threatens to move the elephant to d4, for instance. So now Silver could just move the elephant to d4. I would have thought that Gold needed to retreat his camel on previous move, and I don't know what he's going to do if Silver just moves his elephant to b4 and straightens the camel into c6. I think Gold elephant would then need to defend c6, but Silver's would get a very, very strong attack with his camel around f3.
So unfreezing the camel with the dog and retreating it back to, say, like d4 wouldn't be enough, you don't think?
Well, Silver would push the camel to d5 next, and say, for instance, advancing the e6 horse to e5 on the next move, and I don't think Gold would be able to save his camel. I mean, that would be a one-move capture for, I think. So indeed, retreating to d4 is usually not enough when confronted to the enemy elephant. And I think the game is good for Silver now. What happened was very, very bad for Gold. Gold had to protect his camel, and now Silver has a strong attack around f3. So Gold has a dog on a6, which diminishes very strongly. So there are no strong camel hostage threats due to this a6 dog. But still, just forcing Gold's elephant to remain in the vicinity of c5 is really good for Silver.
So what can Silver do here to attack Gold's f3 trap? Would you suggest
Silver
putting the camel onto g3 now?
Yes, that's definitely an idea. I think that might very well be what Fritzlein is going to play. So moving the camel to g3 and then the horse to f4, so the e6 horse to f4, and Silver would already have some kind of grip around f3. So the question is whether Gold could quickly move his camel to the edge and free his elephants to come back towards f3. But that's not very clear, because as soon as Gold's elephant leaves, Silver can just flip or pull again Gold's camel to b5. So the tactics are not very clear, but I think advancing on to g3 might be possible now for Silver. I guess the other idea would be just to advance pieces on the east, so maybe advance a horse to f5 and a camel to g4 and a rabbit to h4, for instance, to prepare attacking on the next move. But I think either on this move or on next move, Silver will attack around f3, so he decided to delay the f3 attack. So he's decided to attack with camel and rabbits. I would have went for camel and horse and rabbits probably, but I guess all options are still open to Silver.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand why he advanced that rabbit to f5. Any idea what Fritzlein might have been thinking with that?
Well, it helps for f3 control, so I guess he's probably envisioning that sometime in the future Gold's elephant will leave c5 and come towards f3, say as soon as Silver's camel dives into g3 or into f2, and probably having a piece ready to occupy f4 would be very, very, very important. So, for instance, even if Gold's elephant hostages Silver's camel on g2, say 4 moves away from now or something, Silver would probably try to occupy the e3 square and the f4 square, and having a rabbit just ready to go would be useful. Maybe this rabbit would even be meant to go to f3. So for instance, move a horse to e3, a rabbit, this f5 rabbit to f3, and any piece to f5, and that would hold the f3 trap, even if Silver's camel is taken hostage. So I think he's just preparing a rush forward.
So it looks like Gold tries to kind of safeten up the position, moving that horse that was on g3 over to e3. Do you think that was just to be careful of the camel not flipping that horse over to g5? Maybe he moved it that way.
Oh yes, definitely. That was a strong threat. That would have been crushing. Gold cannot afford to have his horse threatened or anything threatened on f6 as Silver can threaten the camel on c6. So he definitely needs to avoid his pieces being flipped toward f6. And now it's not very clear what Silver can do. Possibly pull Gold's camel to b5 and use a spare step to advance on the east. So Gold could undo this move with 3 steps, but somehow I feel like a spared step would be more valuable to Silver than to Gold, because Silver is just trying to rush forward, so he's got several interesting moves. Just any move forward on the east is a good step. Any step forward is a good step. So I think repeating the position, somehow repeating the position by pulling Gold's camel to b5 might be an interesting idea right now.
And what about that 4th step? Maybe advancing the horse? Do you think it's still safe to do that?
Either the e6 horse, I think that would be safe, or the h7 rabbit, for instance, that would be good also. So for instance, if Silver dives onto f2 with his camel right now, I guess Gold would move his elephants to f4 and step aside with his horse to his f3 horse to g3, and I guess Silver would not have time to threaten Gold's camel before his own camel gets captured. And so he goes for the other plan. So I forgot to mention that I did not like this dog move to a6 because this dog is threatened to be hostage by a horse anytime, and Silver decided to hostage it right now.
Yeah, I was not sure about it, but actually it does look good. So this dog on A6 wasn't safe at all. Yeah, that looks bad for gold. I don't think gold can threaten a capture on F3, because silver's camel could just run away and gold could just capture a rabbit in return for his dog. But on the other hand, if gold elephant remains around C6, then silver will just attack around F3, and that will be terrible. So yeah, I definitely like this 12s move by silver. I guess it was the right time to take the hostage. So gold is threatening the dog on 2c3. I guess playing 2 steps to retreat the dog to d5 is now mandatory for silver. And maybe with the 2 other steps, silver can advance his camel to g3 and his rabbit to f4, attacking around f3. It doesn't feel like gold's elephant will be able to leave c5 anytime soon, so I think silver is now safe attacking around f3. It's not very clear to which extent silver might get a crushing position around f3 if gold cannot defend with his elephant, because both gold horses should be able to to stay around f3 for some moves, but anyway, just moving the camel to f2 in the future and advancing rabbits on this wing would be very, very strong for silver. And also silver has his e6 horse, and he could try to get the e3 square for his horse with the help of his camel. Also, in any case, silver looks very, very good here. So actually silver's dog would be quite safe on d5, because gold's elephant cannot push it all the way to d3 or even to d4 because of capture threats on c6. Okay, so Fritzlein decides to retreat his dog all the way to d6. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but anyway, this horse step, this e6 horse step south to e5 is very interesting and will help to attack f3. Maybe now on 14g gold can move his camel to a5 and his elephant to e5, pushing the horse to e4, threatening capture on f3. Silver could not capture the a6 dog because gold would capture the horse on f3. And I don't think that silver could protect f3 with just his camel and rabbits. I think gold's elephant would be able to force captures quickly. So probably pushing this horse onto e4 with the elephant looks quite possible now. Silver could pull the camel back to b5 with 3 steps, but he would have to move his camel because capturing the horse onto f3 ending up on f4 with the elephant would threaten the g4 camel on next move. So maybe silver could pull gold's camel to b5 and retreat his own camel. Okay, so maybe my 14g move is not possible.
So we haven't had any captures yet, and the position is still it's getting a little bit tangled, but it's not totally a committed position yet, right? I mean, I don't think the elephants are fully committed yet, and you know, there isn't any frames or hostages or anything like that, so It's still somewhat of an open position. Which side do you do you think is in any favorable position right now, John?
Oh, definitely silver. Most definitely silver. I think silver's elephant is very, very happy to be fighting against gold's camel. So silver's elephant is not completely tied to the west, but it's very happy to sit there on b4. So silver's elephant will remain here anyway. So gold's elephant has a little bit of freedom, but not too much, since say every couple moves it needs to defend c6 because silver can re-establish a threat on c6. So both elephants are somehow tied to the west, and so silver is getting a very nice attack around f3 meanwhile. So it's just a matter of technique, I think, for silver, moving his pieces right with the right timing around f3 to get an attack which would prevent gold's elephant from being able to reach f4 and capture pieces, but rather control f3 strongly enough so that gold's elephant cannot come back there to defense. Gold's a6 dog and b5 camel are threatened, so silver is definitely okay now.
Oh wow. I hadn't even considered that possibility. What do you think of this gold move here, Jean?
Yeah, gold has to do something. I mean, gold had no I didn't see any good-looking plan for gold, so he had to try something, somewhat strange. The difference between the two camel attacks is that silver's camel is heavily supported with all his army swarming forward and being there for support. The difference is that gold's camel is attacking only with the dog as support, and moreover both elephants are on gold's camel side, which is always more playful. It means that gold's camel is not completely free, while silver's camel is the strongest piece around f3. So I don't think silver should use too many steps on the west now. Probably maybe just one step to move the elephant to c4, and 3 steps to attack around f3 would be fine here. Oh, actually gold is not even threatening capture on c3 because his camel would be hanging on b6. So maybe moving the camel all the way to f2 is a good idea now. Okay, so silver decides to blockade the west, but I don't think that was necessary. I don't think gold could have achieved anything on the west, and I think attacking around f3 would have been very, very strong.
Now this does give gold a good opportunity to retreat that dog and possibly even the camel along the a-file, right?
Well, I don't think there is time enough. Retreating the dog 2 steps is possible, but you won't have the time to retreat both the dog and the camel. That would take at least 3 moves, requiring gold's elephant to sit on a5 at some point to unfreeze the a4 camel. So in 3 moves, silver could get a crushing position around f3. So gold definitely does not have the time to do that. But gold does not have the time to do much. So I think this 14s move was it was not necessary, but it was very, very, very Fritzlein style. You don't attack right now, but rather you prevent gold from achieving anything and wait, because you know you will be able to attack later. So he tries to get a perfect position before attacking, and that looks good actually, because I don't see any strong plan for gold. Gold decides to attack around c6 with his own camel, So the positions are somewhat symmetrical with a camel attack on both sides, and the difference being that Silver's camel is heavily supported, and that's a major difference. So once again, I think moving the camel to f2 is very strong, or otherwise moving the camel to g3 and the horse to f4, for instance, would be strong as well. Gold's elephant will not be able to leave b5 soon enough due to his camel being alone on b7 or on c7.
Now, do you think there's any possibility of maybe trying to blockade that gold camel at all, or not even worry trying to do that?
I think Fritzlein might decide to do that, but I would definitely not do that. I would just rush forward and attack f3. The worst thing that can happen to Silver is Gold's camel moving towards f7, for instance, and freeing Gold's elephant, but the camel on f7 would not be achieving anything actually, because it would somehow be in control of f6, but there are no gold rabbits that can reach this quadrant, so being in control over f6 and over the northeastern quadrant would not be any good for gold. So I think that just getting a strong grip over f3 before Gold's elephant can defend there is very important, and I think doing it very, very quickly should be able to. I think Silver should be able to get a winning position around f3, say a very strong position around f3 very quickly.
Well, I was going to say that for those two horses that Gold has around f3 is going to kind of make it a little bit difficult for Silver to get full control of f3 using just a camel and a horse, right? Because that horse would not be able to get onto one of the squares where Gold's horse is. So it's going to be probably a tougher fight for Silver to take control of f3.
Well, yes and no. It's true that Gold would be crushed if his e3 horse would be exchanged with a cat or with a dog, because he could not hold on to f3 very long. So here he will be able to hold to f3 for some time, but with the camel as the strongest piece here, Silver would be able to use a pull and occupy maneuver. Say, for instance, imagine that Silver moves his camel to f2 and Gold's horse sits on g3. Then you can just move a horse to g4 and in one move pull Gold's horse to g2 and occupy g3 with your own horse. So I think tricks like that should allow Silver to get control very quickly and get three key squares around f3. So here on 15s, I must say, what the heck? So Silver decides to hostage Gold's camel, but here Gold could just flip the b6 horse to b4, and I think that would be very dangerous.
Yeah, I was thinking of that possibility, but then I thought, since Silver has so many pieces advanced there, like maybe that horse and dog could come in around c3 to help keep it safe. Then the elephant takes the camel hostage.
Yeah, Silver would need to protect c3 with the second horse, but I think that would be quite dangerous. So that would be very detrimental to the f3 attack anyway. Silver would have to fight to prevent any piece from being captured on c3. That would not be so easy, so I think he could do it, but he would have to use some pieces, and so it would be harder to attack around f3. And
So now on this turn, are you expecting Silver to just go in and take that camel hostage?
Yeah, I guess so. Gold could not flip the b5 horse onto c4 due to the d5 dog. So I guess hostaging the camel is now the logical move. The interest of flipping the horse on previous move for Gold rather than just pulling it to b5 is that Gold would have been able to push the horse to c4 and move his elephant to c5 to cover c6 on next move. So that would have made Silver need his pieces to unfreeze or protect his horse and try to survive around c3. But now Silver does not even have to protect his pieces since Gold ever threatens them.
So on this move, maybe it might be good for Gold to try to just put that horse on c6 so that it doesn't get an opportunity to get deep into Gold's territory, because since the elephant is so tied now to c6, having that Silver horse roaming around on Gold's sides would actually be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that's an idea. That's an interesting idea. Actually, as Gold, I would be much more frightened about what will happen around f3 rather than what will happen around c3. But that's a possibility. But anyhow, I don't see what's Gold's plan now. Usually, when you get your camel hostage, you just have a single plan. It's to replace your elephant and rotate your elephant out of the c6 defense. But here Gold cannot do it because both his horses are defending f3 and they are needed to defend f3. So Gold certainly cannot defend c6 with his pieces any time in the future. So here Gold has just no plan, and Silver can just rush forward on the east and attack f3, and I don't see what Gold can do.
Yeah, so the game has gotten a bit of a tangle now. Position looks more solidified, and I think that Gold elephant looks like it's going to be tied to c6 here for quite a while. I don't think it can even consider running over to f4 to try to do a camel trade, because it'd be very easy for Silver to just retreat the Silver camel and put a piece on c5, preventing the Gold elephant from coming back to c5 to save the camel.
Yes, indeed. So Gold cannot move away with his elephant because, as you say, Silver's camel could be unfrozen. Is not frozen and could just move away. So you'd have to be careful if you want to move a piece to c5. For instance, if you move your dog, your elephant cannot capture on c6 on next move. So you would have to do some to leave some room for capture. But anyway, just playing one step, retreating the camel would be enough. And okay, I was going to say that as Gold has no plan, he might just decide to trade a horse for the camel, which is bad, but I don't see what else he could do. I would have imagined rather to push the horse to b4 with the elephant to b5. I guess Silver can try to protect his horse here. Possibly move the dog to c5 to unfreeze the horse and just shift his west. So say horse to a4 and okay, so that's a bit complicated. It's not so clear if Silver can avoid capture, but I think Silver should be able to, if he does not want to trade the camel for a horse, he might be able to avoid it. So he would have to step with his camel north to protect it. But I think in 3 steps it's possible to scatter with his pieces.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, saving that horse, like what you were suggesting as well. But so Silver decides to go for the trade here.
Yeah, anyway, the position is really, really good for Silver. Gold is in really, really bad shape here. I guess that next Gold's elephant would need to go towards the east, and Silver would like to attack around west with a horse probably. So now on 18s, I guess that Silver will retreat his camel once, maybe move his elephant to c4, and move the dog away to, it's not clear, and try to get his pieces not being pushed or flipped into the center, and then try to get his horse around b5 to attack either the a5 dog or attack around b3. Here the main strategic feature of the position is Silver's horse, which is I would like to call it an almighty horse. It's an untouchable horse. You cannot do anything to this horse because Gold's elephant cannot threaten it, and there is no longer any camel to threaten it. So this horse, Silver, is very, very valuable, and Silver can just attack with a horse and an elephant anywhere, and then have the camel as the strongest piece on the other wing. So here Gold on 19g could just pull the e5 horse towards e4, and I guess Silver would then attack with horse and elephants around f3, and maybe replace his camel on the west rather than on the east, and well, there is no plan for Gold to fight against that, and if Gold does nothing here, then Silver will rather move his horse to the west, I think, and attack with elephant and horse on the west.
So do you think this rabbit probably can't? Doesn't look like Silver can save it too easily, right? Might be capturable here.
Maybe Silver is going to capture a dog in return for the rabbit, just pulling it to b5 with the elephant to b4.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I think that we trade a dog for a rabbit. I don't think that he could get anything else than a rabbit for this dog. He could then threaten Silver's horse, but I don't think he could force a capture. So I guess pull the dog and retreat the camel to g6 with the fourth step. Yeah, that looks definitely good. I was hoping that we get an exciting game, but looks like it's going to be very, very tough for 99 of 9 now to find anything to do. And so, I did not go through the different scenario possible at the beginning of the game. So if Fritzlein wins, there will be no buy anyway, as he will have 2 lives, and there will just be another player live with 1 life. So he would be pretty tough to. It would be pretty tough to prevent him from being champion a third time, I think. Go 99 of 9, go.
Oh yeah, I know you wanted 99 of 9 to win this one, huh?
Yeah, kind of, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's going to be hard for 99 of 9 here.
Now, I was thinking, what about the possibility if the gold elephant captures the rabbit and then moves to F5 and then pushes the horse on E3 over, moves the horse on E3 over to D3, threatening to push that horse into E3 on the following move.
Oh, that would definitely have been a good move. I think that would have been better than the actual 20G move. That would have been a good move. I don't think Gold could have forced the capture, but at least he would have threatened something.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Gold to threaten something now.
Yeah, because now, well, Silver still have his horse, which is almighty, and threatening the horse with the elephant is no good, since Silver's elephant will just protect his horse. So Silver is going to E+H attack around either F3 or C3.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Aha. So here, indeed, Silver cannot easily save his horse. Silver could just push Gold's horse to D5 and threaten to capture this horse if Gold captures his E4 horse. But I think that would be a good exchange for Gold to capture Silver's horse in return for a horse. Because Silver's horse is more valuable than a gold horse, as there is no gold camel, while gold horses have to fear Silver's camel, so it would be a good trade for Gold. Now, maybe Silver can charge into G3 with his camel. Oh no, that should not work anyway. Yeah, so maybe this forces a horse trade.
So you're saying this horse trade would probably be good for Gold?
Yeah, I think slightly better for Gold. It's not great because he lost a dog, so say that if Gold had not lost a dog for rabbits on the previous moves, then it would definitely be very good for Gold, very good a trade for Gold. Here, with a dog missing, well, any further trade makes Gold more and more shorter on pieces, so it's kind of emphasizes the lack of pieces, Gold's lack of pieces, but still I think it would be a good trade for Gold, yeah. At least Silver would not have a trivial plan like he had before. So if horses are traded, then Gold's elephant can just follow Silver's camel, and it's not so easy to attack for Silver, because he can only attack with dogs, and Gold still has a horse to deal with the dogs. So there would still be some game. I mean, Silver would have to try to do something, but there would no trivial way to straightforwardly win for Silver.
So it looks like Silver is offering to trade horses here.
Yeah, I don't think he had a choice. Charging with the camel to G3 would not have worked, since Gold would have pushed Silver's horse to D3 with his elephant, ending up on E3 and threatening captures on F3 and D3. And I think that would have been, well, that would have allowed some strong threats for Gold. And now Gold definitely needs to capture. Oh, so Gold could also also push Silver's horse to e3. Well, I don't think. Okay, so we have a suggestion by AAA in the chat room. So using 2 steps to save the horse and 2 steps to push Silver's horse to e3. But I think Silver could probably just push into e2 with his horse and move his elephant to e3, and that would save his horse.
So 99 of 9 is actually thinking through this one, deciding whether to go for this trade or not, perhaps. Oh, he decides not to go for the trade. What do you think about that?
I don't like that. Then Silver can just E+H attack anywhere. So I guess that 99 of 9's plan is to tie down elephants around f3 if Silver E+8 attacks around f3, and try to capture this a5 rabbit into c3, as he just needs 2 moves to capture it. So he could probably capture it before Silver's camel can reach the west. So I see now for Silver, elephant plus horse attacking around c3 would be better. So moving the horse to d3, to d2, and the elephant to d3, envisioning to move the horse to c2 on next move, would be very strong for Silver now.
Well, isn't moving the horse to d2 a little bit risky, because if the elephant, the gold elephant comes to, I was going to say, if the gold elephant comes to d3, or maybe you said to move the silver elephant to d3, and I missed that.
Yes, indeed. So just as Fritzlein plays, and now there is no way to threaten this horse, and Silver will get a good attack with a c2 horse and a d3 elephant, and Silver's camel will be the strongest piece on the east, and it's going to be very hard for gold to achieve anything. That's too bad, because trading horses would still have left play. I mean, Silver would have been very much ahead, but still gold could have fought back, probably attacked Silver's camel and with his elephant, say with his elephant to g6 and try to attack around f6. And if Silver's elephant follows gold's elephant, then try to do something with the horse on the west. So that would still have been a game, a somewhat interesting game. Here Silver has a straightforward plan.
So do you think it's worth it for gold to try to prevent the invasion of c3 and just try to fight it with the small pieces, or should gold bring the elephant back to c3 now?
Okay, that's interesting. So indeed, you could blockade c2 to prevent Silver's horse from pushing into c2. That would be an interesting move. I don't think it would hold in the long run. I mean, maybe that's the best move right now, and then Silver would advance horses and rabbit on this side and try to get a stronger attack, and I think Silver would be able to finally force Gold's elephant to defend. So I think ultimately Gold's elephant will need to defend around c3. I don't think there is any choice, but I think your move was, one of the moves you suggested was probably best. Here, just move.
Yeah, I was actually thinking keeping the dog where it was and then shifting like the cat and advancing a rabbit sort of to like build a flank around like c2, and then maybe advancing the cat over to e3 just to prevent the cat in c3 from being flipped.
So actually, would have Silver would have captured on c2 because only the c2 dog would have held this square. So you would have had to say move the a2 or the b1 rabbit to b2, the cat onto c3, and then you need to move a piece to b3. So for instance, the horse to b3. So you would really need 4 steps to move a piece to c3, a piece to b3, and a piece to b2 to protect c3. But that would have been, say, a better defense, I think.
So what could Gould's plan be here? Do you think Gould could go ahead and try to charge into c6 and try to invade that?
Yeah, it looks very much like that's what he's going to do. So actually, I don't think it's a great plan. I mean, I don't see what you could do as Gould. There is no good plan. But so anyway, Gould's elephant would be somewhat tied either to c3 or to c6, and anyway Silver's camel would be able to attack around g3. So I don't think this is very frightening for Silver, this Gould attack around c6. Now possibly just move the horse to c2 and maybe the rabbit to h2 is good. If you need the elephant to defend c6, then it's fine as Silver, and on next move Silver could charge with his camel onto g3, and that would be somewhat tough to meet, I think. So instead Fritzlein decides to protect his c3 trap without his elephant, which is the other way to do things. Well, actually that's a very natural move, advancing rabbit in endgame and overprotecting the trap. Actually I liked to advance this rabbit to h2. I think it's very nice to have an advanced rabbit all the way to h2 in the middle game, and it will set up nice goal threats for the future. As Gould, I think I would try to blockade this rabbit right now, at least advance a rabbit to h2 or maybe even to h3 to prevent Silver from getting an advanced rabbit. And anyway, now the c6 attack will be very hard to perform for Gould.
So perhaps the elephant is going to have to come back now, you think?
Well, Gould is currently holding on to the c3 trap without his elephant. Silver, so his dog can go to c4, and now Silver can choose any 2 squares around c3 with his elephant and his horse, but anyway Gould has enough pieces all around to occupy the other two squares. So anyway Gould can hold on to this trap without the elephant. And he's advancing a rabbit because it's no use attacking around c6 if you don't have a goal threat, so he's advancing a rabbit for that purpose. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, now Silver should attack on the east with his camel, and that will be much stronger than anything Gould could do on the west, but still Gould has to fight, and I think trying to advance a rabbit is always a good idea anyway. I'm a bit worried for Gould that advancing the a4 rabbit will let Gould's Silver's a5 rabbit advancing down the a5 very, very far. So it's not very clear to which extent Gould has a goal threat. I think Gould's attack prospects are very, very far away, and now Silver should attack on the east definitely. I would advance a rabbit to h2, and then the camel to g3.
Yeah, so materially, gold is definitely ahead. Gold has a camel for a horse and a dog compared to a rabbit. And also position-wise, even though gold looks like there might be an attack coming soon on C6. Position-wise, I don't think that's going to be a very strong attack. And like you said, if the silver camel now starts getting into the action, it could mean a lot of trouble for gold here.
Yes, definitely. I think that here goal threats or prospective goal threats are very important. So you really need to think what you're going to do with rabbits. Early in the game, Arimaa is a game about trap control, but in the end game, it's about goal threats at least as much as about trap control. I really think advancing a rabbit would have been good for silver on the past couple moves, and I really think that advancing this H rabbit to H2 or H3 would be good for gold now to prevent this rabbit advance.
So silver did a nice job of creating a blockade around the B6 square to prevent the horse from being able to get into the B6 square, and then used only one step to advance the camel.
Yes, indeed, that's a nice blockade, but I think that's unnecessary. I don't think silver had to do that. But well, still, that's one way to proceed. So somewhat slower.
So Fritzlein is probably playing it a little bit safer here, huh?
Yes, he's always playing on the safe side.
Okay, I don't think I understand why that rabbit moved from G3 to E3. Have any idea there, Jean?
Yeah, definitely just for goal threats. Silver has just a dog on the d-file and a camel on g5 to protect against rabbit advance in the center, so it's very natural to get goal threat. So of course gold is not hoping that this is a false goal, but still endgame is all about goal threat, so a single rabbit could somehow immobilize several enemy pieces and forcing them to defend. So I think that's what gold is trying to do now. He's being frustrated from a rabbit advance on the west, and he cannot advance to the east, so he's got to try to find a goal threat in the center.
Yeah, now that you mention it, silver does have a bit of a hole in the center, and having that rabbit on that E-file does seem to make sense now.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Silver is using a lot of pieces on the west, so this is a nice blockade, but it's requiring a lot of pieces. And I think that's a bit slow in the end game. Time matters very much. So I think that it was. I see that in the chat room, AAAA is saying that he's not impressed by this 24S move. I'm not a big fan of it either, because I don't think it was necessary to prevent Gold's horse from reaching B6, and it requires a lot of pieces. And it loses some.
So on this move, silver has to also worry about that rabbit, which is exposed to be captured in F6. So silver will need to at least take one step to keep that rabbit safe. And what about the other three steps, Jean? Any suggestions on what to do with that?
Yeah, as before, advance the rabbits to h2. There's no reason not to advance the rabbit as far as it can go, because it will provide good goal threats in the future. So I'm not sure. Maybe Silver will decide to. Okay, so he does not want to advance a rabbit on the h file, but he's rather trying to advance on the west, I guess.
So maybe the idea here is to get that dog onto the d3 square and the elephant, perhaps pushing its way onto the c4. I mean, looks like Silver is still trying to maybe work on invading c3, right?
Yes, indeed. So if Silver was to play right now, he would move his elephant to c3, his dog to d3, and push the c4 gold dog to d4, and that would force the capture on c3. So gold has to defend against that. I guess that maybe. Okay, so I don't know. There are many ways, but indeed he's working on something. I mean, trying to do something around c3 and advancing rabbits to create goal threats. Try to force his way through the c file maybe.
That gold horse is over there like a strong piece, but it's just not able to do much where it's at. Would you want to keep it there, or do you think suggest moving that gold horse somewhere else?
Well, one idea would be to retreat the dog to c3 and move the horse to c4 to enforce control over c3 and prevent this move by Silver that gold did not prevent. Oh yes. Yeah, so he... well, that's complicated. So I guess Silver could play this maneuver to control c3 and force capture. Force capture. Gold could move his horse to d3 and push away Silver's dog, but it would lose the e3 cat, so I'm not sure about that. And also Gold could try to capture Silver's camel by pushing it to g3 on next move. And again, I'm not sure.
So actually 99 of 9 has set up one of his sneaky gold threats here. That rabbit on e4 can goal if Silver is not careful.
Okay, I'm telling you, if I had been Silver and if I had 30 seconds to think about this move, I would have lost the game right now.
Yeah, 99 of 9 is very good at creating these sneaky goal attacks, and has gotten me that way a few times as well.
Yeah, indeed, quite good. So I don't know, maybe moving a rabbit to e6, say the g6 rabbit to e6, might be in order now for Silver. Maybe retreating the camel to g6 as well, and threatening to perform this maneuver around c3 to try to attack something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, certainly something's going to have to come across to block that rabbit's path. So 3 of the steps, I think he did what you suggested.
Yeah, and he's advancing a rabbit to c5. So he would have had 2 different plans. One plan would be to try to capture a gold piece on c6. To try to pin Gold's elephant on c6 defense, but she's rather trying to advance rabbits and force his way with his rabbits towards Gold's goal line. Yeah, so it's not easy for Gold to find something to do here. So advancing rabbit is crucial. I don't know, maybe pushing this e6 rabbit to f6 and advancing this e4 rabbit to e5 and trying to get something going, to force one silver piece to come to defense, and maybe the other way, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, I think, now for Gold to keep control of c3. I mean, I think that's going to break down pretty soon.
Well, he's got his two horses, so as long as Gold can commit his two horses around c3, there is no problem, because if Silver's dog come to d3, then Gold's horse can just push it away and take d3 itself. And if Silver's dog comes to c4, then the b5 horse can push it away and take c4 itself. So with the two horses, the c3 square, the c3 trap is safe. But that would mean that Gold has only his cat to play on the east, not a cat and a horse, and that's a big difference. So Gold is moving his horse to d5. That's interesting, actually. So the move I proposed as 27g to push into e6 with the elephant was probably bad, but pushing it into e6 with the horse followed by a rabbit is quite an interesting plan. So yes, I think that's a good move by 99 of 9 here. He's realizing that he needs a gold threat to be alive, and actually Silver is very strong on both wings, so attacking in the center is probably the right way, and that's an interesting move. Maybe now, as Silver framing the gold dog onto c3 would be an option, trying to force Gold's horse to defend around c3. No, even with the dog, framing the cat with the dog looks much stronger. Yeah, just moving the b6 dog onto b3 looks much stronger now, or just pushing the cat away to b2 or to a3.
So if Gold decides to attack in the middle, do you think that could potentially pan out? I mean, suppose Silver. So Silver does exactly what you propose, but do you think this is something that Gold has to respond to immediately, or do you think Gold could try to make some headway in the center and continue trying to advance that rabbit and horse?
Okay, so sorry about previous move. Just moving the dog to b3 would have lost the c6 rabbit, and I think Gold could have captured this rabbit and tried to get something going with his own e4 rabbit. So that would possibly have been bad. So here, pushing onto e6 and moving the rabbit to e5 as Gold is possible. And I do think indeed that Silver would need to answer that. So that's complicated, but I don't think Silver would be able to capture on c3. So maybe that's a good move for Gold. The other move is to pull Silver's dog to c5 and move the gold dog back to c4 to protect c3. He's deciding on an attack, so Silver can just defend by using his c4 dog to push this rabbit onto e4. But that means that he would still have a strong attack around b3, so that's probably an option here. I guess Gold might flip this dog away on next move. No, maybe not, because 3 would be threatened. Maybe just pushing this rabbit back to e4 with the dog is now a good idea. pushing it to e4 with the elephants is also a good idea. Trying to capture this gold horse on 2c6 within a couple moves.
Oh, so he decides to do it with the elephant. That's interesting.
Yeah, actually pushing the rabbit back to e4 looked better to me. Not sure why he pushes it to d5. I think it would have been easier for Silver to force a capture on c6 by just advancing his 6 fine rabbits, d6 and c6 rabbits on next move, and threaten very strongly this horse capture to c6. And well, but anyway, Silver is still in control.
Yeah, is this elephant, the silver elephant, do you think it's gonna maybe need to have to stay here now and take this horse hostage?
Well, there should have been more than a hostage threat. I mean, it could have been a capture threat on c6 rather. But now it's kind of tough to move away the d6 rabbits very quickly. So Gold decided to defend c3 with his horse. I think he had to do so. He had no choice because Silver could have gained the b3 square with his dog. Well, Silver could still try it in the future. And I'm not sure what Gold can do.
So it looks like 99 of 9 is hanging in here pretty good by creating some sort of counter goal threats along the middle. One of those was very sneaky, but it's looks like he's been able to hold off pretty well so far.
Yes, indeed, but well, I think Silver is quite much in control, and so he's working out slowly, trying to capture this rabbit on c6 with his dog. I think this is fourth. Gold has no way to prevent that, and I don't see any plan for Gold here. It's not going to be easy.
What about if Gold was to flip that f6 rabbit with the elephant? Do you think that'd be too risky, or it could be captured in f3?
I think that would be very risky, as Silver would unfreeze this rabbit and move it to g2 probably. So it's true that Gold's horse would not be frozen and could try to move away. But usually forcing enemy rabbits to advance is not pleasant at all. I mean, even just moving the cat to g3 instead and advancing the h4 rabbit to h3, for instance, would defend f3 and create very, very strong threats. So usually in the endgame you just don't want to pull enemy rabbits toward your side. Usually goal threats are stronger than capture threats.
So no way for 99 of 9 to prevent this rabbit capture. Oh, he did that. He actually is going to try to capture this rabbit in f3.
Yes, indeed. So I guess now moving the cat to g3 is a logical move for Silver. And I don't think that Gold horse or d3 horse or c3 dog could ever attack this cat, because they are needed for b3 protection, for c3 protection. So just on 30s, moving the cat to g3 and the rabbit to a3 looks good for Silver.
Now the one bad thing about getting that silver rabbit out of f6 is that camel can now cross through and take that horse hostage and sort of free up that elephant a bit.
Yes, indeed, but I'm not sure. Yeah, indeed, that's one strong threat. I think the strong plan for Silver is to capture this d5 rabbit and move away the d6 rabbit and capture the horse onto c6. So it's not necessary to hostage the horse with the camel, but that's one way to do it. So I don't know. I think moving the cat to g3 is mandatory. Well, it's not mandatory, but it's good looking now. And then I don't think Silver would take time to hostage the horse. Just capture on d6 very quickly.
So Fritzlein is probably trying to decide here whether to trade rabbits or whether to try to save that rabbit or around f3. Oh, so he decides to save it with using another rabbit. But also, looks like now he's trying to get some of his stronger pieces around f3. That's kind of suggesting that he might want to create some gold threats around f3 now.
Yes, indeed. Well, there are two advanced rabbits and weak gold defense from gold, so indeed that's an option. So I think gold has to move his cat to g3 now, probably pushing the rabbit back to g4. And but maybe he cannot do so because maybe Silver's rabbit would advance too far. Yeah, so that's tough. So maybe rather... Okay, so he pushes the rabbit to h3 rather than g4 because he does not want the f4 rabbit to be unfrozen and Silver to be able to push this rabbit onto e2. And that's why he pushes the rabbit just to h3, which is a worse square for gold than g4 because it's closer to goal.
So you expect Silver to continue shifting that horse to the east now and going over to create some gold threats?
Yeah, I guess he's going to move his horse to f2. But I'm not sure about this whole plan. I don't like too much this plan of releasing c3 and going after f3. I think just moving the cat to g3 first was best, and maybe next attack around f3. But now gold is in control of g3, and that's quite important. So actually Silver will probably need his camel. One thing that gold could try is to trade horses. If Silver's horse moves to f2, then gold could try to... I'm not sure whether he could do it because Silver would capture the horse to f6 with only 2 steps. Wow.
So indeed, it looks like Silver is going to try to create some gold threats around f3 and invading f3. Now, I think there's no option here for gold other than to at least bring the horse or that the dog over to, like, say, e3 now.
Well, gold could also try to capture a dog on c3. As there is no force goal, then Silver would capture a cat, I guess, onto f3.
I think that would weaken f3. I think too much. I don't think gold could really afford that.
Yes, indeed, that would weaken f3.
Jan, was the attack with the camel on g3 so risky last turn?
Sorry, Hippo, please say that again. Oh, move
camel
the camel
to
to
g3 as I suggested in the chat. Was it a problem last turn?
Yeah, that was possible. I was suggesting that move. I think that, well, that was definitely possible. And that's probably what Silver is going to do in the future. Very quickly, perhaps on next move. If Gold just moves his horse to e3, you suggest, Omar, I think Silver could just charge with his camel onto g3 and take control. So yes, that's definitely an option, Hippo. So here Gold probably cannot move his f4, pushing the rabbit away to g4, because Silver could capture Gold's horse too quickly, I guess. So I'm not quite sure what Gold can do.
So maybe he might just try to push that rabbit away and at least create a temporary horse-for-horse exchange kind of situation.
Well, I don't think that is an exchange situation, because Silver can capture with two moves and either move his and either move his horse away or move a rabbit to f4. So here I don't see what happens when Silver captures the horse and unfreezes his g4 rabbit onto f4. So that's actually a horse for dog trade.
I would probably
Yeah.
flip the rabbit back to the f6 trap previous turn.
Yes, but Silver could have captured on g3. If you flip the rabbit onto f6, Silver would have captured with his camel on f3 the g3 cat. That wouldn't have worked as well. So here I think just capturing the horse and unfreezing the g4 rabbit with the camel, moving this rabbit to f4 looks good for Gold. Looks good for Silver, and Gold cannot even capture the d4 dog. So I don't know what 99 of 9 was trying to do here. Oh, that was another option. So now Gold actually can capture the dog.
Well, the elephant is at risk right now.
No, I think it is.
Like if Gold captures the silver dog. Oh yeah, you're right. It can't. I was thinking the camel would be able to pull that cat away, but it can't.
No, it can't indeed. So, I was preferring my move of unfreezing the rabbit with the camel, moving the rabbit to f4, and then the camel would have been threatening the g3 cat, so that would have won a horse right away without allowing a dog capture. Silver is completely winning anyway.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of fireworks here, and so now Silver is definitely in a much stronger position, I think, than before even. So the elephant will probably have to come to f3 now here to maintain control. But I guess that would leave the camel free to roam about.
Yes, indeed. So now Silver is going to replace his camel towards c5. But still, it would have been better not to let the dog be captured. That would have been a clean game. Now Silver has to work a little bit. So I think Gold can really threaten captures on c3. So now Silver is going to move his elephants to f4 with his camel to d5, I guess. Elephant to f4 and camel to e5 probably. And then I don't think Gold can threaten Silver's horse onto c3. Usually it's bad to get a horse hostage in the middle on e2 because Gold could threaten it both on f3 and c3, but here I'm not sure whether it's doable. Well, actually Gold can try to threaten the horse onto c3 next.
Yeah, that's true. Gold could create one of those forking situations right now. I think maybe pull the horse up with the elephant and then advance the rabbit on f1.
Yes, indeed, that looks like the best try, and indeed he's doing it. I'm not sure about this g1 north step. Maybe rather moving the d1 rabbit to e1 was better to move one more piece on the weak western side, on the weak eastern side. Sorry. Well, now Silver can move his camel to c5, maybe to offer a horse trade.
Or what about the possibility of the elephant, the silver elephant, crossing through f3? And threatening the cat. Because
that's possible.
With the if Gold captures the horse, Silver captures the cat. But Silver has a lot of rabbits advanced on that side, so I was thinking that might be a strong positional situation for Silver.
Yes, indeed, and that's probably why 99 of 9 moved his rabbit to g2 to force Silver into spending one step to capture this cat, so forcing, well, the elephant would have to push into g2 and capture the cat from g3. And then indeed Gold would have no longer any piece on the east, sorry. And that it would be very tough to defend there, to defend properly. But I'm not sure what else Gold could do than capturing this horse. Maybe just pushing it to d3 would be possible. Oh, and I'm sorry, but I don't think it will be 39. Looks like 89 of 9 is going to last more moves than that, probably.
Yeah, he definitely is playing very well for being behind in material. I don't, usually when I start getting behind in material, my position just starts to crumble, and then I collapse very fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would have been better off trading horses when he could earlier on. I think that would still have been a game, and if he had played well, I think he would have been able to make it an interesting game. Here, even playing interesting moves, it was not enough to make it any kind of game. So I don't know. It's interesting indeed to push into f2. That's probably maybe the best move. Maybe Gold could push this horse to d3 next, but Silver would probably be able to defend.
I was going to say Fritzlein has kind of got a little bit low on reserve here. Only 24 seconds left in reserve now, and it looks like he's offering a horse trade here. Do you think it's worth it to do it now?
well, Gold could decline this trade and just move his horse to b4, and I think this would be interesting, because I don't see how Silver would defend next. I would rather have used the third step to move the rabbit to e1 rather than d2, because Gold needs to defend on the east against Silver moving his elephants to f2 as you proposed, Omar, on the previous move. So I think just moving this rabbit to e1 would have been a good move. And I guess on previous moves, Fritzlein was probably calculating this, probably your move, Omar. I guess he was trying to work out whether he could go or not. Okay, so he played a cat step so that he could move his rabbit to f4 now.
Yeah, this actually looks quite dangerous, right? Even if the elephant... I think the elephant's going to have to push that rabbit away at least.
Well, Gold cannot capture the horse for sure. For sure. Well, almost for sure. Gold could maybe push this horse to d3 and stay on e3 with his elephant. And I guess next Silver would move his rabbit to f3 and cat to f4. And indeed, that looks crushing.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking Gold almost has to do... Oh my goodness. So he goes for the capture.
So I guess that now capturing the cat and moving the rabbit onto f3 is probably very strong. Oh, onto g3, that's another idea.
That might
that's
be
much stronger.
I don't see how you can stop this now.
Yes, indeed. Well done.
So exactly by 39 then.
Whoa, nice one, Hippo. So I think we have the winner for the prediction contest. Oh, but no, that's 38. Well, anyway, well done, Fritzlein. He will advance to the final game with 2 lives. And well done, 99 of 9. Too bad about this early camel hostage. I think indeed Silver had the upper hand in the opening, and it was tough for Gold to come back after suffering a heavy loss in the opening.
So that's it. In 39, 38 actually. On move 38S, Silver reaches goal, and what a game! Very interesting. So maybe this is a good time to thank our sponsors, Z-Man Games, who's the creator of the Arimaa sets, and also Board Games for Us, who's a online retailer of board games. And in fact, you can purchase the Arimaa set from there as well. And also I'd like to thank the other members of the Arimaa community who have contributed to the Arimaa Prize Fund. And thank you very much, Jean, for commenting today. It was really fun assisting with your commentary. I'm definitely learning a lot by listening to these commentaries. And definitely I'd like to thank the players that have come out to the players for putting on a good show, and the spectators for coming out to watch today. We have quite a bit of turnout in the chat room, and also listening in the TeamSpeak here. So let's see if maybe we can get Fritzlein or 99 of 9 to maybe give us a few words on what they were thinking during the game.
Yes, indeed, and thanks Omar for co-commentating. That was fun indeed. Too bad for 99 of 9 that the opening went bad for him, because he would have been able, I think, to give a good fight in an end game. And yeah, indeed, that's quite. Usually, these commentaries are quite fun and it's quite nice to be listening to a commentary while watching the game. I find it enjoyable on both sides, both as a spectator and as a commentator.
I don't see them in the chat room yet. At least, at least I don't see Fritzlein there. I see 99 of 9 has come into the chat room.
Oh, I see we have Karl who connected. Well, congrats, Karl. Nice game.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
Very good, thank you. It was tense all the way. I never felt I was losing, but I always felt I could make a mistake at any time.
Well, you seemed quite in control after getting this camel for horse trade in the opening. So I must say your position always looked very good, and the outcome was it was really hard to see anything to do for Toby. And so I have a couple of questions about the opening. So how about this move 10G? So the position before move 10G, you had charged with your camel on G4, and on 10G, well, Gold lets you get his camel hostage, and I think your position is very good after that. What do you think would have happened if Toby had pulled your B6 dog to B4 on 10G? How would you have evaluated the position?
Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I was happy with my position. I thought that I was winning because my advanced camel had more support than his. If he had moved his camel back to B6, sorry, his camel, I have the turned around in my head, moved his camel back to B3, pulling my dog to B4, I would have run over with my elephant and unfrozen the dog. At least that's what I was thinking about doing, to unfreeze the dog and retreat the dog, because my camel is not in immediate danger of capture. So I have time to stroll over there and unfreeze it, and I can come back at my leisure. He doesn't have a camel hostage. My elephant isn't tied down yet. And so I would still evaluate that position in my favor because I have those advanced pieces with my camel, and at when I feel like it, I can go back with my elephant, go back and continue what I was doing with my swarm.
Okay, second question, how about 16G? what if Toby had flipped your horse to b4 on 16g? Didn't you fear anything could happen around the c3 trap? Would you have just defended c3 or maybe unfrozen your horse to scatter away?
On 16g, if he flips my horse out, then I just have one step with my elephant to take his camel hostage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would have taken the camel hostage, and I was looking at those tactics. I didn't see a way for Gold to get me in trouble. I didn't see a way for him to get any more than a horse for a camel, because my dogs, horse, camel, all my stuff is up there in the middle to help my horse not be stranded out there on the, I guess I would be on the c4 square. So I had looked at that and been afraid, but then I went ahead and made my move that way anyway, thinking that I had enough help. Now, if there had been some tactic that got me in trouble after the flipping of the horse, then I wouldn't have been too surprised. I mean, that's what I mean by it being a tense game. I felt like I didn't have all the variations worked out. But I did think with my other horse up there, my second horse can come into, if my silver horse gets threatened on c4 with the gold elephant c5, then my second horse can probably come to skew in some fashion. I just thought, or even, there's even a possibility. Well, I don't know. I couldn't work out the tactics. It just seemed that it would work out okay for me even after that flip.
Okay. Do you guys have questions for Karl?
A good game, Karl. I was wondering. I think there was a point where Toby could have traded horses with you, but he declined to do that. I was just wondering if maybe, we were thinking here that it would have been a good thing for him to trade the horses. So I was wondering if what you thought about that. Do you think that would have been a good thing for him to trade the horses? Let me see if I can find the move.
Tess?
Yeah, I was just going to try to see if I could find that move.
Yeah, it's 29S, so you stole my third question, Omar. It's on move, 29. I'm sorry, yeah, I just lost the move. So it's on move 22G. 22G, Gold could have just traded horses. How did you feel about this horse trade?
Yeah, that's right. It's on move 22G. So at that point, it's Gold's turn, and Gold could have captured the silver horse in f3, but declined to do that.
So I was looking at the position on move 21S, and on 21S I didn't want to trade horses. I believe the conventional wisdom that if you're down by a camel for a horse, and then you can trade off a pair of horses, then it minimizes the damage. Then your horse is not a whole lot weaker than the camel. So I certainly looked at trying to avoid that horse trade. For example, I could have moved my rabbit over to unfreeze the horse and advance the horse one, then the horse and rabbit are in mutual protection. Advance my elephant, bring my elephant one step closer to the scene. I thought that if I did that, I might end up losing both my horse and my rabbit in exchange for the horse. So I very much wanted to avoid that horse trade. I think that Gold should have done it. One of the reasons why I just said, I'll go ahead and accept the horse trade is that I was also at that point, I wasn't just up a camel for a horse, I also had a dog for a rabbit. So having a dog for the rabbit, I thought, even if my camel's superiority to his horse isn't that obvious, I'm enough ahead in material that trades can't be too bad for me. So I think Gold should have taken that trade. I think 99-9 would have been a slightly more comfortable position having taken that trade. But he's still behind by a fair bit of material.
Yes, indeed, I agree. I was feeling the same way during the game, that it would have been more of a game, well, of course, very tough for Gold, but more of a game by trading horses. Okay, so thanks a lot, and congrats for the good game.
Thank you, and good luck yourself in the next round, or if you end up, I think there must be a third place playoff game. 99-9 will play the loser of your game against Adanac, if I'm not mistaken. So, good luck the rest of the way, and I hope, I'm just glad that there were no technical difficulties this game on either side. I hope we can continue that good run.
Yeah, definitely. We've been quite fortunate lately. No timeouts or server problems or anything like that. And we did have quite a number of people logged into the game room today. Anyways, yeah, thanks for the commentary, Jean, and good luck on your game tomorrow.
Thanks, Guy. I will need luck.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to take it off the air then.